I know what you're thinking. We disappeared again. Little bit of pointers on that one, but today we are making eucalyptus soap. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, especially welcome back to me. I have taken a couple weeks off just to kind of collect myself. Sometimes when the body wants to burn out, the body burns out. And I will say, if you don't take that time off to yourself, your body's going to kick you out for a lot longer than you need it to. And that was absolutely the case. However, we don't need to dive on into that. As you can see, I completely forgot to put things out on the table, so we're going to go ahead and fix that in a second. I normally do my intros on the back wall that I'm looking at right now, but because I have piled it up with stuff and we're getting stuff going back on our scheduled programming, it's a little bit stiff for me to get over into that area to give you a nice little intro. So for now, you're going to get this nice clean space with our wholesale order off to the side, and we're going to get set up for today's video. And with the magic of editing, we are back and ready to go. So as I said in that nice little quick intro that we did, we are doing a eucalyptus essential oil soap today, and we are just touching base with things right now just to get into the swing of things again. Now, we are using our standard soap recipe. It is a tried, tested, and true one. We are tweaking it just a tiny bit, just to kind of help set up with what we're working with today. Because in all honesty, if something works for you, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You can absolutely test other methods and keep going with this one. But just for this standard video, we are sticking to our regular recipe for it. Okay, so my microphone died, so you are going to be getting some fun, echoey sounds going on in today's video for this one, just for this portion of everything else, because that poor baby, I did not charge. That's on me. Now, to jump into this, we love having a eucalyptus soap. This one is an essential oil from New Directions that we're using. It's really good for revitalization. It's good for your sinuses if you have colds, energy. And essential oil is also just really good for the body because it's as natural as you can get. Now you're probably wondering, how often do we make it on our line? And the real thing is we don't. So when it comes to eucalyptus, we tend to not make a soap out of it just because us as a brand, we're really looking at trying to try different scents, kind of experiment with new things. We don't want to be like every other soaper, because if you go to a market, soap is so common, bath bombs are common, bath and body care alone really go hand in hand, and you will almost see it at every market. So how do you find a way to stand out from all the other ones? And we find that eucalyptus is such a common one that we just try to stay away from it. Now, that doesn't mean we don't love it, because like I said, I love eucalyptus. Our brand is just trying out some new, fun, inventive scent ways and where to go from there. Now, to jump into the bulk of it, because I have been monologuing quite a bit for this one, we have our avocado oil, good for the skin. It's a perfect carrier oil. We have castor oil as well, and I just noticed that I just mixed up the two, so we're just going to go with that anyway. Castor oil, which is really good for drawing in moisture to the skin. We have a nice little lump of our avocado butter ready to go. Coconut oil is currently thawing out because it has been a little bit chillier here again, so we're warming that up. We're using canola oil for today, and then as well, we're using cocoa butter and stearic acid. So I know that's a lot of stuff to go into it, but I will say we're throwing in cocoa butter because every time that we've done a eucalyptus soap, I have personally noticed, because I'm very impatient when it comes to unmolding it, that I like to pull it out before it's fully set up. And with eucalyptus, it does take a while to set with the soap, when we're working with it anyway. So I'm throwing in a cocoa butter and the stearic acid just to harden it a little bit faster. We're cooled down, ready to go. I just had it on the paper towel just to kind of dry out the bottom of it, because I put this poor scale through everything, and the last thing I need is to short circuit it while I'm working and get electrocuted. will never happen. That's just a fun fear. Okay, we are going to now kick off into our other oils, our liquids more or less, and do our measurement pour out there. So as you may have noticed, the sound probably got better. I did charge the microphone just so we could have a somewhat good quality video with a low quality magical Amazon microphone doing the best it ever can. Okay, castor oil done, ready to go. Moving on to the avocado oil, I'm going to reset the scale because my math skills are oh so great. Okay, and then with our avocado oil going, we're just going to go ahead, throw in the number that we need to throw in. I've done this so many times, I know it all by memorization, which we will get there all one day. Now for the comically large portion of this video, it is our canola oil. We use canola because it is cheaper on the budget. It doesn't make the soap last as long, but we've never had anyone come back a year later and been like, hey, I haven't used my soap. They normally come back after 2 weeks asking for more. So the life expectancy of the soap does shorten it with canola, but we don't really have many people coming back way down the road saying that it ever happened, just that they used their soap way too fast in the first place. All right, now that we have all of our oils together in our nice little bucket, we're going to go ahead and add our lye water. So at this point, do put on your safety goggles, do put on protective equipment, especially masks and everything, because you don't want any to splash out on you, in your eyes. There have been several reports of this happening with many soapers. Let's not be one of them. We're going to go ahead, add in our lye water, and do our mix-up now. Now for this portion, we do just pour it in right away. We kind of scrape out whatever we can. And you can probably see at the bottom of it, it's already starting to create that soapification. We're just going to take the mixer and put on a nice little jazz tune as we get it soapified. So the goal for your soapification is to have it all hit one color evenly. If you have streaks or anything along the lines of it, that just means all the oils are in there. It will still set up, it just gradually takes a lot longer for it. So for now, while we have it like this, we're going to go ahead, add in our colors. I'm going to do another quick mix again, just so it's all evenly dispersed. And then what we do is we will add the fragrance. I'll do the step-by-step for it all. Like I said, today's color is the olive green mica from Fizz Fairy, and then we are going to be going into our Proud as a Peacock blue. And I'm not putting in a lot of amount, so I did one little scoop of green. I'm going to do 2 blue and go from there. And then what I'm going to do to get that real eucalyptus light color is I am going to add some titanium dioxide, oil soluble, of course. We're going to hook up our blender again, and we're going to see if we get that gorgeous eucalyptus glow. Okay, color-wise, that is exactly what I was going for. It is that eucalyptus glow. We're going to move it off to the side, get everything else prepped while we can. And you have heard me say in the past that I do add my fragrance oils to the end, and that is just because I'm so used to some of the stuff reacting so quickly that I just like to work at a good pace. So I will add my fragrances at the very end. And then for today, we are using our old school Winston and Walter mold, and this is our wooden one. It's one of the first ones they came out with. This has been with us since day one. We're using this because we have used this mold so many times that unmolding it is going to be a breeze. It's nice. The walls are still super, super strong 4 years later. Just for now, though, I like something that's going to have a nice give when we unmold it. With the newer molds, the silicone is still fresh. So I like something that's going to have a little bit of give, especially with the eucalyptus one. So now with our fragrance of essential oils, I'm just going to do a nice pour while I slowly stir. And eucalyptus does take its time into setting up. So you have all the time in the world to really work with the eucalyptus essential oil, especially this one. I'm just making sure that it gets in there fully as much as it possibly can. Kind of get everything all together. And I soap at a 2-to-1 ratio. So I use 2 parts of our distilled water with 1 part of the lye solution. And for me, it just gives me that extra time frame to work. So with this one, I am able to not panic. I can breathe when I do the soap. And this is just a 1-color one. They just requested that the soap have the same colors as Eucalyptus. So we are keeping it as simple yet beautiful as we possibly can. So we're going to go ahead, fill it up to the line, get it all out. Oh, she overfilled. That's on me. So we live in a very old barn house. And this old barn house likes to play with us on the leveler. So join us now as I'd like to admit that I may have overfilled it a tiny bit, but this is still such a super easy cleanup to do. At least it's not going over all the way over. We have some escapees, so from now on, we're going to let this set up. We're going to let it gel a little bit, and then we're going to wrap it. So I will see you for the unmolding portion 24 hours later, and I mean 24 hours later this time. For the first time in our soap making video history, I have waited 24 hours to finally unmold this. Now, I will say this is just my personal take on it. Everyone is always going to be a little bit different with their adventure. But in the morning after, I always pull off the sides of our soap molds just so I can let the air get in. And I'll normally take the sides and I'll just kind of exercise them down. Let the air really get into the space between the soap just so it cools down faster. So it'll help me with the unmolding process. Suffice to say, we say it in every one of our soap videos, our molds are from Winston and Walter, and we absolutely love them because they are one of the easiest ones to unmold. They're so good and durable. Like this one is one of our very first ones, and it is still going strong. And you saw me pour soap not everywhere, but it overloaded yesterday. We clean it off, scrape it off, clean it, ready to go. This baby has been through some times, and it is still one of the main ones that we use to this day. Now for the rest of the unmolding portion, what I'll do is I'll just pull off these other little sides, kind of let the air in there, and I can already see that our eucalyptus bar is going to be very, very soft. This happens almost every time with us, so this isn't anything that I'm new to. And for us, we will flip it up. We will just kind of press out the bottom of it very, very lightly, just because, especially with this one, we have had times where the bottom of the soap would just stick to literally the underside. So when we peeled it out, it was like an unflattering cocoon removal is the best way to describe it. But normally, with all of our other bars of soaps, Eucalyptus is the only one that's done it to us so far. Normally, we can just get that going, pop it out, let it do a nice little free fall, and we'll just support the underside of it. And then we are good to go. So I'm not going to hold this one up long or anything because I don't need any indentations to happen. But that is as easy as it is to remove these. One thing about their molds too, and this is by no means like an advertisement for them, but their molds are silicone based, and the only thing that sticks to silicone is silicone, and apparently really, really wet soap when you get impatient. However, this one is beautiful. We're going to trim up the edges, and then we're going to bring down the camera angle, and we're going to do our cutting. So it is one color. The cutting portion isn't going to be the most fun, but you can still see the bar of soap that you're going to get from it anyway. So let's go switch that up right now, and we will see you momentarily. For the cutting portion of this, we always trim off a very little bit of front, and because it is one color, I'm not too worried about the swirl or anything, how that's going to go. We're just going to go ahead, lift it on up, clean off the little edge, or it's actually a cheese slicer, so we're going to clean off the wire, move it forward, and then we're going to go ahead, get that going just like that. And as you can see, it's simple, it's clean, it is a eucalyptus bar of soap, nice and classy. If you want to take it any further, you can bevel down the edges if you want. I just run my finger along them, so when they do set up, they're not going to have like these fun little ridge lines. But most people will take a vegetable peeler to it just to shave off the corner. Some actually have a beveler. We do not. We keep our bars as classy as possible, but we're going to go ahead and cut the rest of this, and we're not going to put that on camera because there's no fun swirls to see, so we will see you momentarily when it's done. Okay, there we have it. So we got 23 bars out of this one. The customer did order 20, so they will have an extra 3 just as a nice little thank you for ordering with us. We're going to go ahead, let these sit up for about 24 hours before we stamp them because this bar of soap is super, super soft. But for now, that is it for the eucalyptus soap. So we will be hoping to at least be doing a little bit more up to date with our social media instead of going missing for a couple of weeks, 3 this time. We will be doing our best to staying up to date there. But if you want to check us out on Patreon, we're going to have our ingredients and our step-by-step guide on how to make this. And we do post to our social medias as well if you want to check us out over there. And please do not forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications when we do post. And hopefully we will see you very, very soon. Bye.